Welcome to our May economic outlook. Good news for the UK economy. We avoided the dreaded triple dip recession and actually managed to grow in the first quarter of the year. And that was despite some unusually cold weather around March time. It looks as if consumers stayed at home and did lots of online shopping rather than visit the stores. And we think this growth momentum can actually continue throughout the course of the year. We finally believe that the easing of credit conditions, particularly boosted by the funding for lending scheme introduced by the Bank of England, is helping to stabilise the housing market and allowing both large companies but also some of the smaller companies access to credit, and that should help to sustain growth. Yes, we've got the ongoing squeeze from public spending restraint, so we're not talking about particularly rapid rates of growth, but at least the UK can now transition towards a 1 to 2% growth pace. Outside of the UK, I think prospects are also improving. Europe is one of a less bad situation. The rate of contraction is easing. We think a lot of the adjustment on the fiscal side has now been made, but demand is still likely to remain fairly subdued throughout this year. Prospects outside of Europe, they do look better. America has showed a decent performance in the first quarter. There will be a temporary slowing mid-year as the US economy absorbs some of the fiscal squeeze, both from spending cuts from the government, and also they introduced some tax increases at the start of the year. But the US housing market's recovering, and that's key to an ongoing sustained recovery. And finally, emerging markets, well, they're benefiting from the reduction in commodity prices, providing they're not a direct export of commodities. That acted as a bit of a squeeze on incomes. It also meant that central banks had to keep interest rates relatively high to prevent inflation from emerging in these areas. But now commodities have eased, the pressure on inflation has disappeared, and they can support their economies with fairly accommodative monetary policy.